Maryville hockey starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
3,
2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. Alongside Todd Panula, I'm Andrew Marsh, and we have your Maryville Saints taking on the Central Oklahoma Bronchos. The Saints come into this one 4-2. The Broncos are undefeated with 5 wins on the year. Last night, the Broncos picked up a 2-0 victory over the Saints, and the Saints look to rebound in Game 2 of this 2-game set. Todd, you were here last night. I was not here last night. What did you see from both teams?
It was kind of an odd game. Myself and Corey talked about it during the broadcast several times, to where it did have kind of a playoff feel, as Coach Hogan would discuss in his post-game interview with Lydia Manning. But it was just kind of odd errors. It was a bit sloppy. There was a good effort from both teams. It was kind of equal on both sides. Thus, the shots were 21 apiece. but Maryville couldn't really capitalize on special teams. That was really their downfall. They had 6 power plays in the game, and obviously when you don't score on any of those, that's really going to hamper your ability to win. But there was just a lot of blue line to blue line mistakes to where both teams just kind of made unforced errors. Now you could give credit to the defense that they were well placed, and both teams would like to hang their hat on that. But just overall, it didn't have the full energy that I think you would expect from these two teams, because we both expect these two teams to be ranked in the top 10 once they finally start revealing some of the rankings. So I expect a little bit better of a game here this evening, but until they drop the puck, we don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you mentioned the penalty kill for Central Oklahoma, 97.14%. They've only given up 1 power play goal so far this season. So I have to think that Coach Hogan and this Maryville squad is looking at special teams today. If they want to win, they have to capitalize.
Yeah, and that was something that he discussed with us personally after the game, was that he was not unhappy with the power play, but he felt that that was kind of the difference in the game. When you have 6 opportunities and you're not able to capitalize on even one to give you a little bit of momentum, then that's going to really kind of end up with the result that you did. So if they get a power play, look for them to really kind of capitalize here tonight. It's easier said than done. They have good goaltending for Central Oklahoma. Obviously, as you pointed out, they have a heck of a penalty kill. But I think if you can capitalize on a special teams opportunity, even if you only get one, it just kind of builds for the rest of the game.
And I think looking at tonight, Maryville, they need to get a flow going. It seemed like last night, like you just touched upon, there really wasn't a good flow to the game for both teams. That is a lot of, I was looking back at the broadcast last night. You and Corey did a great job, but it seemed like every 30 seconds there was whistles and missed passes and untimely plays. So I feel like Maryville, if they want to get to their game, they got to start early, and they have to just get into a flow.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent word to put it, a flow, because there was energy, especially in the first 5 minutes or so of the first period, first couple minutes of the second period. Third period was a little bit lax for both teams, but there was good energy, but there wasn't capitalization on any of their passes, on any good shots. For having 21 shots, they really didn't test the goaltender enough. So I think they need to just kind of, as you mentioned, get into the flow of the game, just let it go.
Yeah.
Because I think there was too much thinking for both sides, really. They were worried about making that mistake that would ultimately lead to something. For Maryville, unfortunately, it did happen with that first goal. A failed clearance kept the puck in the zone for the Broncos, and they would ultimately end up putting one past Ed Coffey. But it wasn't necessarily his worst night. He played a very good game, but for his part, he wasn't tested a lot either, even though he faced 21 shots, I should say. So he made 19 saves, but he didn't face a whole lot of quality opportunities either. So I think both teams are going to try to get into the game a little bit earlier here tonight.
You mentioned Ed Coffey. Ed Coffey, who played last night, gave up 2 goals. He will be the starting netminder tonight for the Saints. He's played in 3 games so far. And if you look at his numbers, 2.66 goals against average and an .894 save percentage. Looking for his second win tonight. We mentioned Ed Coffey playing well last night, but I think for tonight, if he just does his job, the Saints can come out with a victory if their offense gets it going.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked about yesterday. Ed has had some weird luck the last couple of seasons to where a lot of the losses that he's had haven't necessarily been anything that he's done wrong. Now, he'd like to have the Illinois State game that he had a couple weeks ago back, but outside of that, he's just had some fluke goals that go in, and then all of a sudden he won't face a whole lot of shots, which makes his stats look a little bit worse than he would like. But when he's on, he's going to give the Saints an excellent opportunity to win. So as long as he plays his game, as you mentioned here tonight, he has an excellent opportunity to pick up his second win and give the Saints a chance at a victory too.
Well, the goalie can only do so much. Let's look and see who will be in front of Ed Coffey tonight with our starting lineup for your Maryville Saints.
Will Smith, Sherbrooke, Quebec, Jr.
Luke McLeod, Orchard Park, New York, Jr.
Felix Turcotte from Terrebonne, Quebec. I'm a sophomore.
Garrett Hunter, Manuce Bay, British Columbia.
Simon Prexler, Coquitlam, British Columbia, Jr.
Edward Coffey, Anchorage, Alaska, Senior.
Well, there's your starting lineup for tonight's game between the Maryville Saints and the Central Oklahoma Broncos. Todd, when you're looking at tonight's game, who is one player that you're looking for to be a huge impact for the Saints tonight?
I mean, it's kind of an easy choice, but I think Sam Edwards, he's leading the team in goals right now, and I think he needs to step forward and prove that he can be a leader, not just in the games that you're supposed to win, but in these kind of games that everything's in the balance, and you need those special plays, and I think he's one of the guys that should come up big here tonight.
I'll look at a player on the other side of the ice, and Andre Blaha, who scored for Central Oklahoma last night. You guys mentioned in the broadcast last night's game that Andre Blaha, he's been a thorn in the side of this Maryville squad for years, and that's dating back to Midland when he was playing for the Warriors. Tonight, I feel like if the Saints can shut him down, they have a good opportunity to win.
Yeah, and they did a pretty good job of doing that last night. Unfortunately, he did manage to capitalize on one of the few opportunities that he did manage to get, making the score 2-0. So that just shows that all he needs is that one opportunity. So the Saints are really going to have to key on him for this game.
So if the Saints are going to win this game, Todd, what is one thing they need to look at in order to come up big and get this the series split?
I think they need to focus a little bit more offensively. It seemed, I don't know if it was the game plan necessarily, but the way yesterday panned out, they seemed to be a little too focused defensively, getting everything shut down, which kind of hampered their flow, as you mentioned, on the offensive end. They need to get a little bit more comfortable connecting on some of the passes through the neutral zone, get into the offensive zone, set yourself up in the early going, and then let things play out from there.
I think if this team can capitalize on the power play, it's going to be crucial for them tonight. We mentioned it. No goals last night for the Saints on the power play. So if they can get an early one, get some confidence in them, maybe they break the ice and can control the tempo of the game here tonight against the University Central Oklahoma Broncos. So we're going to wrap things up here on our St. Louis Science Center pregame show on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. We'll have the national anthem and puck drop coming your way next, so don't go anywhere. We have Saints hockey coming your way right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Wherever you live, from Bridgeton to Baldwin, Brentwood to Kirkwood, St. Anne to St. Charles, wherever you live. Hazelwood to Maplewood, the name you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
St. Louis, 314-645-2000.
There's power in numbers. Number ones will cook you with that first step.
Your L, sir. Compliments of the chef.
Number 10s, more gold than Midas.
Midas who?
24s will live in your head.
I'm home.
33s put in so many hours they'll be the first to defeat Father Time.
What you got, 33? Clowns up, old man. Run it back. I said run it back.
50s, ice in their veins. And 87s are so good, they just set up shop in the end zone.
Next.
There's power in numbers. Take yours. Powerade. More power for 0 to 99, more power for me.
The Maryville Saints Hockey Network welcomes you to the following presentation of the American Collegiate Hockey Association.
Maryville power play, 36 remaining on the front, shot on, right between the wickets. He scored!
Can't accept the loss, I'm hard-headed. There's a little bit of madness to my method. Many falling off that fine line that I'm treading. I risk anything to be great, and I'm not letting nobody rob me of my victory. Number one, that's what I'm meant to be. When by any means, only thing that makes sense to me, I can make nice or make history. I got that dog in me, yeah. Turn me up, big energy, got the crowd going nuts. I got that dog in me,
Victory for the Saints. Here comes the dog.
Give me, yeah. I'm talking all bite, no bark. I could rip your squad apart. I got that dog in me. So what's up?
toe drags a shot, scores! Slips it through, and the puck around, wait for the opportune moment. And there it is! And they were able to facilitator does have a fantastic shot, and they score! Look at that, it squeaks through!
What a toe save, and they score on the rebound!
I got that dog in me, yeah. Turn me up. Big energy, got the crowd going nuts. I got that dog in me, any up. I think I'm anyone. I don't need no one, no. I got that dog in me, yeah. I'm talking all right, no park. I could rip just what I'm. I got that dog in me.
The Saints have come to life.
Yeah. So what's up?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Alongside Todd Panula, I am Andrew Marsh as we get set for game number 2 between the Saints and the Broncos. Last night, the Broncos picked up their 5th win, 5-0 on the year, a final score of 2-0. So the Saints looking to get out early and try and take a 1-0 lead here on home ice. Todd, we talked about it in the pregame show, but the Saints need to do better on the power play this evening. That's going to be one of the things we look at throughout this 60 minutes of play.
And we mentioned it during the pregame, the quality of the penalty kill for Central Oklahoma, basically 97%. But if they're going to give you 6 opportunities plus a 5-on-3, we didn't mention that. I forgot to mention that. A 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes, and they killed it off. I mean, that was a big momentum sapper for the Saints. You get a similar opportunity like that tonight, you've got to bury one.
Both teams are ready here at the Dog Pound. And we are underway as Central Oklahoma wins the faceoff. It's flipped up into the Saint zone. Ed Coffey will leave it for Luke McLeod. McLeod near side goes off the wall. It's going to be a foot race. Smith will beat it out. He takes a tumble into the boards behind the net. Broncos with it. They'll shovel it to the near side corner. McLeod laying the hit. Battling for the puck. Both teams. Who's going to come out with it? Broncos with it. Flipped up into the neutral zone off the stick of Austin Simpson. Pass out front, puck is loose, and Coffey will put a glove on it with 19:15 remaining here in the first period. Scary moment right there for Maryville, as that one was just loose right there in the blue paint.
Yeah, they had a man on the doorstep. It was a great back check by Felix Turcotte, inserted back into the lineup here this evening, and showing why right there, because otherwise that was a clean look for both the initial shot and the rebound. Instead, it ends up just kind of trickling towards goal, and Coffey covered it up.
Ed Coffey starting tonight for the Saints. On the other end, Doug Wakeland for the Broncos. Puck inside the Maryville zone. Off the stick of Sam Edwards. McElwain lays a hit. Puck rimmed around the near side boards. Timon Prexler pinching in to keep it in. He does. Cash Reagan with it, sends it around in the neutral zone now. Hunter, one-touch pass for TJ Prexler. Edwards will guide it in. McElwain on the backhand, tries to shovel it down below the dots. It's in the corner, rimmed around to the far side. Josh Olsen on it. Olsen using his body to protect the puck. Edwards comes in for support and comes out with it. Over to Timon. Timon, top of the circle, in the high slot, looking for McElwain. He couldn't get the shot off. Jackson White fires one on, but it's broken up. And Central Oklahoma will dump it in. Cash Reagan will head to the bench as the Saints break out. Adams off the boards, can't connect with his intended target, Cameron Ware. Broncos get it for a split second, but Maryville will take possession. Behind the net, near side. Olsen unable to get it out. Helping him out was Jackson White. He'll send it the length of the ice, no icing. Lucas Adams to the backhand, far side corner, spins away, loses it. Able to pick it up for Central Oklahoma's David Burton. Unable to keep it in is Jake Chartier. He'll dump it back in as Burton will pick it up for Central Oklahoma. He'll survey the ice behind the cage as he finds his winger skating wide. That's Cameron Williams. Williams gets it in deep. Ursulak with it, far side. Off the boards, finds Henderson. Henderson gobbles it, picks up the puck and skates up ice. Feeding it for Ware out front, and that one goes off his skate, and it's going the opposite direction. On the backhand, shoveling it forward is Frank Mondi. He takes a hit, and we'll get an icing with 16:54 remaining here in the first period. One shot apiece for both squads, still tied up at 0.
Yeah, still early in the contest, and very similar to what we saw yesterday in terms of the shot totals being low and the shot attempts being low as well. But there's a little bit more of a crispness to the game, especially on the Maryville side. They're connecting on more of their passes, looking a little bit more confident than they did yesterday.
Broncos come out with it. Off the skate, Burton looking towards the middle of the ice as the Saints take possession. Benji Rutkai with it. He'll go D-to-D for Corpse. Stretch pass off the skate of Kraus. Not Chuck Kraus, our broadcasting partner, as he is not with us today. Henderson with it. Feeds it down low for Zloty. Zloty using his body to protect the puck up top for Corpse. Corpse fires it back down low. It rims around to the far side. Rutkai unable to snag it as it might have gone right under his stick. He'll get back into position. Blaha unable to get it out for the Broncos. It's kept in. Bouncing puck. And the Broncos able to get it out of the zone. It hit off the stick. Not past the red line, so we'll get an icing with 16:03 remaining here in the first period. Still no score. Maryville, although they only have one shot on net, seem to have all the possession inside the UCO zone, so that is a good sign so far here in the first period.
Yeah, and they've forced a couple icings as well, so they're putting the pressure on, making the Broncos feel their presence.
Offensive zone face-off. McLeod taking it for the Saints. He loses it. Rimmed around to the near side boards. Blaha can't grab it. Shot on into the skates. Wrist shot, and that one goes wide. Hogan throws it around to the far side for Central Oklahoma. It's kept in. Will Smith with it. Smith, far side corner, spins away at the hash marks to McLeod. Turcotte, wrist shot on that goes high of the net. Near side, blue line. It skips over the stick of Timon Prexler. He does pick it up, and he is battling with Andre Blaha. Able to find some space as he fires one towards Will Smith. Smith at the red line. Hits the blue line. Pass for Hunter. Hunter shoots, and that one is stopped. Good stop made by Doug Wakeland. Puck back into the neutral zone. Timon, he'll go D-to-D, but an errant line change. Broncos shoot, and a nice pad save made by Ed Coffey. 15:05 remaining here in the first period. Still 0-0 thanks to Ed Coffey. And on the other side, Doug Wakeland. TJ Prexler now on his forehand below the dots. His pass hits off his skate, still in the corner. Edwards trying to reverse check. He loses the puck, but now regains it on the far side of the ice. Spinning away in the corner. Trying to do a little dipsy-do. Loses the puck. It comes up to the blue line. Pinching in is Jackson White. Fires one on, and we'll get a whistle with 14:35 left to go here in the first period. A risky play by Timon Prexler at his own blue line as the Saints were changing. A 2-on-1 for the Broncos, and Ed Coffey comes up big.
Yeah, that could have gone bad in a number of ways. We saw last night the officiating crew then was more than willing to call too many men on the ice, but it didn't happen in that instance. You still give a partial break to a very dangerous team. Ed Coffey bailing them out.
Far side, rimmed around to the near side. It's chopped at. It'll go the length of the ice. Linesman says no icing. Back forward is White. We do get a whistle. I don't believe it'll be an icing. It could be a penalty, and I think it will be, as heading to the sin bin is Sam Edwards. Check that, Brett Ursulak. Edwards looked like he was going to the sin bin and said, "Not me."
He kind of faked you out.
Not me.
He's like, oh, nope, going to veer off here.
So Brett Ursulak will sit, and the Broncos have an opportunity on the power play to make it a 1-0 game. Only 2 shots for Central Oklahoma, but it only takes 1 to take the lead.
And we saw that last night in the second period where Maryville's still very much in the game, and then all of a sudden that power play goal for Blaha really kind of just put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And with a game that Maryville's played very well so far and they've somewhat dominated, it could easily go back the other way with Central Oklahoma potentially getting a man advantage goal.
So Ursulak in the box for 2 minutes, hitting from behind. Both teams operating over 30% on the power play, 32.5 for the Broncos. We mentioned their penalty kill being spectacular in the pregame at 97.14. We'll see how their power play fares here early in the first period. They set things up, top of the key, Burton with it, near side circle, wrist shot on, hits off his stick and goes wide. Smith is there. Smith throws it off the glass, and he's able to clear it. A wholesale change coming for the Saints. Wakeland out of his cage. He'll leave it. Behind the net, J.C. Dubecki. He'll wait for his wingers to swing wide. To the near side for Blaha. Hits the red line, dumps it in. Waiting for the puck on the other side is Sam Sykes. He's bumped off the puck by Garrett Hunter, who looks to kill some clock. At the hash marks, 4 Saints and 4 Broncos. Unable to keep it in is Dubecki, and we'll get a whistle. 13:07 left to go here in the first period. 42 seconds remaining on the Maryville minor.
Good call by the linesman, though, as it was hard to tell from the camera position that we've given you, but it did just come over the line by maybe a couple inches at most.
Wakeland will shovel it around to the far side. Showing chase was Felix Turcotte. Dubecki skates up ice. At the red line, spins away. Turcotte, good pressure. UCO able to get it in. Ed Coffey throws one off the glass. However, Dubecki's there at the blue line. Good defensive play by Lucas Adams. Maryville changes. Sykes will leave it for Guerrero. Slap shot on as Sykes broke his stick. That one went just wide. Kraus with it, near side. Shoots one on it, might have hit off a body, and the Saints are able to clear. Arm is up. Perhaps we'll get another penalty. We will. The Saints will head back to the penalty kill as we're back to 5-on-5 for a brief second. Broncos with it inside their own zone as they go back and forth at the blue line. Stretch pass. A little too hot. Ed Coffey will come out and touch the puck. A heads-up move by the netminder. And the Saints will head back to the sin bin with 12:01 left to go here in the first period. So a good kill, a couple opportunities for the Broncos. However, some of those shots did not make its way through. Some good blocking by the Maryville penalty killers.
Yeah, the defense was well positioned, almost acting as a second goaltender as they are wont to do. That was been a staple of the Maryville defense over the last few years, whether it's forwards or defenders. But you don't want to allow this to become a special teams battle this early in the contest. You kill it off. You're looking to get momentum. Instead, they only get about 10, 20 seconds of 5-on-5, and it's back to the penalty kill.
Rimmed around to the far side. At the blue line, able to keep it in is Vitaly Mikhailov. However, it's going the opposite direction as Colt Corpse tries to move the puck up ice. He'll go off for a line change. Settling things down and skating up ice is David Burton. He finds Mikhailov, dumps it in. Cash Reagan there, near side corner. Puck battle, Saints come out with it. Backhanded, and it gets out of the zone. Broncos going back and forth in the neutral zone, and now they dump it in. Ed Coffey able to slow it down. Rimmed around to the far side. It hits off his stick. Burton's there. for the Broncos at the blue line. Over to the near side. That one is blocked. Good job by Ben MacArthur. He'll go off for a line change to kill more time. 56 seconds remaining on the Bronco power play. It seems like they really haven't been able to generate any sustained offense while on the power play, Todd.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with Ed Coffey, the way that he's cut out the rim around. He's slowed it up, allowed his defenders to get it, and if they can't clear it, they're at least all back in position.
Another zone exit for the Saints. Simpson over to Dubecki. Rimmed in. Linesman has his arm up.
Blaha's lost a skate blade, so he's swimming around.
Blaha cannot make his way to the bench. He's using one leg to push off. We'll see if the Saints can maybe capitalize here. Shot on, and that one's just wide. Corpse with it. Far side, back down low. Pass to the front of the net. Doesn't make its way through. And now we're back to 5-on-5. Edwards had it for a brief second. Now skating up ice all by himself is Austin Simpson. Shoots one on, hits off his stick, and goes out of play with 9:47 left to go here in the first frame. So a good job by the Maryville penalty killers to kill off two back-to-back minor penalties. Obviously, you don't want to head to the sin bin, Todd, but you can gain some momentum killing off penalties against a good UCO squad.
Yeah, they looked really good on the first one, allowed UCO to have a little bit more time in the zone on the second, but not a lot. So thus far, the penalty kill has been very good for Maryville. We'll see if they get a power play opportunity, as the refs may look to even things out if they see anything going the other way.
Hunter with it. Wrist shot on, doesn't make its way through as the Broncos are able to get the puck out of the zone. Timon Prexler, stretch pass at the blue line. Chartier gets it in deep. Wakeland out of his net, rims it around. Chartier with it. Pushes it forward. Unable to find his man, and Jack Henderson as the Broncos get the puck out of the zone. Zloty loses it. Central Oklahoma takes possession. Shot wide. Glanced off his stick as we approach the 9-minute mark left to go here in the first period. Trying to step up and keep it in is David Burton. He gets knocked down by Chartier. At the hash marks, near side. Puck is loose. Firing one on. That one goes just wide of the blocker. Puck is loose. High slot. Kept in by Burton at the blue line. Stops and starts at the blue line. Wrist shot on. Goes just wide. Zloty loses his man. Shot. Doesn't make its way through to the net. Maryville doing a good job at blocking shots. That one, oh my goodness, as Coffey's able to put a glove on it, hit off a stick, ricocheted towards the net, and we'll get a whistle with 8:25 left to go.
May have actually gone off of Coffey's paddle, but ultimately no harm, no foul, as he was able to corral that loose puck. But these are kind of nervy moments for goaltenders, because we've seen UCO come up with a few shots here in the last minute or so, and a lot of them have gone wide, but they're coming so close that sometimes that's actually worse for a goaltender than if they actually hit you.
Rimmed around to the far side. Mondi trying to seal off that wall. The Saints are able to get it out of the zone. Back for it is Cameron Williams. Hounding him is Ware. Adams. Far side, loses the puck. Trying to get a stick on it was Jackson White. He'll seal off his man at the blue line. Ursulak with it. Ursulak skates up ice. At the red line, dances away and loses the puck. And we'll get a whistle and a cross check by the near side post. And Ursulak throwing hands with David Burton. We'll see if any penalties come out of that scrum with 7:45 remaining here in the first period. Still no score. It seems like Maryville had a lot of momentum early on. Took those two penalties. We mentioned maybe they could get some confidence after killing both of those penalties. However, it seems like UCO and the Broncos really just firing shots on. They've really controlled this game ever since those two penalties.
Yeah, defensively, I think Maryville gained some confidence, but in terms of what we talked about in the pregame with the flow of the game, having 2 back-to-back penalty kills really disrupts everything, because now all of a sudden you got to try to figure out, okay, well, where are we at with our line changes? Who's fresh? What trio can we throw out there that's ready to go? And you're almost kind of pushing the reset button.
Rimmed around to the far side. Rutkai is there. He'll punch it forward inside the Broncos zone. They'll go D to D. Taylor, stretch pass. Able to find his man. That's Zach Guerrera. He is knocked off the puck at the blue line. Saints with it inside the Broncos zone. McLeod pushes it forward. Below the dots. Comes out front. It's knocked away. And now Austin Simpson with it. Trying to find his man, Guerrera. Middle of the ice. It hits off his skate. And the Saints will take possession. Rutkai at the red line. Fires one on. That one goes high of the cage. Olsen's there. Pardon me, Will Smith as he spins away. He's bumped off the puck. The Broncos will send it off the glass. It comes out of the zone. McLeod trying to help out. Simpson's trying to dance around Ben MacArthur. It's at the blue line. Dubecki with it. Wrist shot on. It's blocked. Ben MacArthur may have gotten an elbow on it. And it's out of the zone. Far side. Stalzer fires one on. It's sticked away to the near side hash marks. MacArthur picks it up in the corner. Far side, pinching in and keeping it in are the Broncos. That's Shura. Kraus able to glove it down and send it back in. Rutkai, far side, looks up. He'll fire it. It may have glanced off the glove. It did, so no icing. Sam Edwards giving chase. Big hit in the corner. TJ Prexler with it, up top to the blue line. Hunter over to Timon. Timon Prexler waits, looks up, back to Hunter. Hunter, top of the key, wrist shot on, and that one is blocked and goes out of play with 5:51 left to go here in the first period. Still no score. 7 shots for the Broncos, 5 for the Saints.
And the Saints starting to slowly build themselves back into the offensive side of things, but just shots, quality shots, I should say, have been kind of hard to come by for both teams because the defense is just so well positioned that you've got a myriad of bodies to try to get that puck through, and then you've got to try to beat quality goaltending as well.
Timon Prexler unable to keep it in at the blue line. Tries to go D to D. He gets it back. Timon enters into the zone, and they go off sides with 5:37 remaining here in the period. Still no score. Timon Prexler, a good job at getting back. He tried to go D to D, hit off his stick, pass intercepted, and then he lifts the stick, gets it back, Todd, and tries to dance around his man at the blue line. However, the Saints did go offside, so we'll get a whistle and a face-off inside the neutral zone.
Yeah, oddly enough, the best offensive drives into the zone have all been from Maryville defenders, whether it was Garrett Hunter with that partial break, Prexler, unfortunately, negated by an offside, and then Colt Corpse, that shorthanded opportunity that just kind of slipped away from him.
Errant pass, Coffey out of his net. He'll shovel it to the near side corner. Saints come out with it. TJ Prexler finds Hunter, far side for Edwards. Prexler driving the net. Edwards waits, shoots one on. It hits off his skate and doesn't make its way through. Chipped off the boards. It'll bounce out of the zone. Sent to the far side. Hunter will go back for it. Puck still rolling. Looks up. He'll find Jackson White. White to Sam Edwards. Edwards at the red line. Dumps it in. Bouncing puck. And able to put a glove on it is Doug Wakeland, the netminder for the Broncos. And we'll get a whistle with 4:43.
Not a bad idea. That one's difficult for a goaltender. You never know where that's going to bounce, especially on that second hop. But, Maryville has been pretty good overall on the faceoffs, so might as well just put one in on net, force him to freeze it, and try to get your offense set up that way.
So an offensive zone faceoff. They win it. However, it comes out of the zone as that one-touch pass from Zalati did not connect with Jackson White. They do connect with that stretch pass to Charche. Zalati in. Puck pinned up against the boards. Zlotty comes out with it. Near side at the hash marks. Funnels it back down low. Board battle below the dots. Charche kicking at it as it's sent around to the far side. Ursulak there at the blue line. He'll flutter one down low. Charche trying to whack at it. It's in the corner. Chartier looks to be held up. Kept in by Ursulak. Hits off a shin pad. And we'll go here to the near side of the ice. Flipped out by Blaha. Gloved down by Ursulak. Ursulak with it. D to D. Finds White. White to Henderson. Henderson hits the red line. Enters into the zone. Drops it for Ware. Ware to the front of the net, and driving was Olsen. Got his stick lifted, and now the Broncos are going the opposite direction. Cross corner dumping. MacArthur back for it. MacArthur sends it around to the far side. Corpse with it. Corpse at the dot to MacArthur. Hits his own blue line. Tries to push it forward, but it's picked off by Simpson, who floats it in. Back forward is Lucas Adams with 3:33 left to go here in the first period. Adams at his blue line. Sauce pass on the backhand. Ware unable to get it. He is offside, so we'll have a delay. He'll tag up. Wakeland back. He'll leave it for his defenseman. And the Broncos skate up ice. Sam Sykes, that one off a stick. Able to get it in is Guerrero. 3 minutes left to go here in the first period. Still knotted up at zeros. As skating up ice, far side is Adams. He'll dump it in. Felix Turcotte in on the forecheck. Kept in at the blue line. McLeod on the backhand. Puck is loose. Smith tried to spin around and get a shot off. He couldn't. He toe drags, loses the puck. Puck still on the far side of the ice. Back down low in the corner. Rimmed around to the near side. Timon Prexler there. Spins away. Top of the circle. Shoots one on, and that one goes off his skate and out of play. 2:25 left to go here in the first period. Still 0-0.
One of the similarities between last night and tonight is that you still feel like Maryville needs one of those lucky bounces. But the difference between last night and tonight is that Maryville is getting themselves into position to where they're going to get that lucky bounce if they keep this up over 60 minutes, whereas last night there just weren't that many opportunities for that lucky chance to happen.
And you create your own luck, in Maryville so far with a good forecheck. They're coming out with pucks on the boards as McLeod shoots one on. It goes just wide. Smith trying to whack at it on the far side of the net. Puck is pinned up against the boards in the far side corner. And we will get a whistle. We'll see who will be heading to the power play. It may be Maryville, as Will Smith was the one who went down. And he is down. He is not feeling all too well.
Yeah, the way they got tangled up, I wouldn't be surprised if he strained something. And yeah, he's not looking like he's going to be able to put weight down. So hopefully it's just kind of one of those things that you got to let relax, and then he'll be all right. But as you mentioned, it looks like
left knee.
Yeah. As you mentioned, it looks like the Saints will be heading on to the power play. They'll pretty much finish this period with the man advantage. So this is a big one for Maryville.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you don't want to lose a player in the process, but we talked about how it would become a special teams battle perhaps, and Saints have killed off 2 power plays, and now they're going to have the first of their own.
Will Smith, as Coach Hogan always tells us, he's everywhere. He's always in the play. This could be a big loss for the Saints. Hopefully Will Smith is okay. Does not look to be good. He's not putting any pressure on that left leg as he is helped off the ice. So we'll see if the Saints can capitalize on the power play and get a big goal for Will Smith heading into the intermission. You can gain a lot of confidence by putting one in the back of the net with the dying minutes of a period. Of course, the Broncos are stingy on the penalty kill. I mentioned it earlier, but 97.14% on the kill. They've only given up 1 power play goal to the opposition so far this season in 5 games. They rim it around the boards after the face-off. Going back for it is Jackson White. 1:50 remaining in the period. In their own zone, Rutkai to Olsen. Drops it for Rutkai. At his own blue line, center circle. Dishes it off to Olsen. Olsen with it. He's bumped off the puck. Ware behind the net on the backhand to the far side. He'll drop it for Henderson. Up to the blue line. Near side. White with it. Top of the key. Rutkai to Henderson. Henderson fires one on and it's blocked. In the corner, trying to spin away with it is Cooper Kraus. Dubecki there now. Ware pins him up against the boards. Henderson spins away, drops it for Rutkai. Rutkai for White, top of the circle. White looking for Sam Edwards. A shot on from Henderson and a stop made by Wakeland with 56.7 seconds remaining in the period.
That was good puck control, though, from Maryville. They were able to cycle the puck around on what essentially became a 4-on-4 after that awkward collision in the corner. Olsen was shaken up, and he had to go to the bench. So you had a good 4 or 5 seconds to where Maryville didn't really have a fifth attacker out there, but they still managed to find the open space, keep the puck in the offensive zone, and eventually generate a pretty good shot from the far side.
Crucial face-off won by the Saints. Timon Prexler with it, near side. At the dot, he'll spin away to Ursulak. Top of the key, Ursulak over to Zalati. Zalati far side, back to Ursulak, up top of the blue line. Wrist shot on, that made it glanced off of a stick. Wakeland makes the save. To the near side corner. Zalati up top to Timon. Over to Ursulak. It bounces off his stick, he'll spin at the blue line, looks up to Zalati. Back to Ursulak. 25 seconds remaining in the period. Sauce pass to Timon. Top of the circle. Sam Edwards unable to get that shot off. It comes out of the zone. At his own blue line is Ursulak. Sauce pass to Zlati. One-touch pass. Can't connect. With it now is Sam Edwards, and he goes off sides. Number 86 with 8.6 seconds remaining here in the first period. 11 ticks left to go on the power play. So that'll pretty much do it for the power play if they cannot score at the end of this first period. Can't imagine them scoring 3 seconds into the second, Todd.
It'd be pretty difficult.
It would be pretty difficult.
But yeah, they had a couple of good looks on the first shift or so on this power play, and after that, Central Oklahoma has really kind of managed to slam things closed.
So a last-second shot from Cameron Ware goes high of the cage. And after one period of play, we are all knotted up at zeros. 8 shots for the Saints, 7 for the Broncos. We'll break down this first period in our intermission report presented by Lou Fuse, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Maryville Saints hockey right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Welcome to Maryville University.
Welcome to Saints Nation,
home of the Big Red M.
So what does it mean to be a Maryville Saint?
It's more than just going to classes.
As Saints, we are passionate about what we believe in.
We are open-minded and curious about other points of view.
And we know this about life at Maryville.
Your best experiences will happen when you get involved.
Make sure to get involved on campus.
We work hard.
But we have a lot of fun too.
We have a passion to see each other succeed.
You might have a few hiccups along the way, or maybe something more serious.
When we run into adversity,
we have faculty and staff here to provide support.
We stand with our fellow Saints through the good times
and the difficult times.
So be sure to seek out help when you need it.
We know that here at Maryville,
we are never alone.
The spirit of Maryville flows through each person that steps foot on our campus.
Being a Saint is that feeling that Maryville University is your community.
That even when you're far away from home,
you are home.
We're on this journey together.
We are Maryville University.
One team, one family.
comes a time where it's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency year after year for me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a warrior.
There's a whole lot of wonder in the little word, why. It's uncovering how things work, what things are. Why is endless. Why is ageless, and it's for everyone to explore. At the St. Louis Science Center, the wonder of why is why we exist. We create it inside our building and in our community. Why is where wonder begins, and the St. Louis Science Center brings it to life. Come visit.
Unforgettable moments can happen anytime, anywhere. When we sit down and have a meal, the simplest joys turn into magic. All it takes is good company, great food, and a nice cold Coca-Cola. That's a recipe for magic.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. Alongside Todd Panula, I'm Andrew Marsh. We got ourselves a 0-0 game heading into our Lou Fuse intermission report. Todd, we talked about flow of the game in our pregame show. It seemed like Maryville had a lot of the possession inside the Broncos zone to start off that game, but then they took 2 penalties, and it seemed to flip into the Broncos' favor.
Yeah, and that'll happen when a game starts to turn into a special teams battle, because it takes the flow out of the game. All of a sudden you're focused on defending your own net. You're hemmed into your own zone. It takes your offensive opportunities away from you. And we saw that it took Maryville a little while, about 5 or 6 minutes after those initial penalties, to kind of get back into a little bit more rhythm offensively. We saw a little bit better of a showing there in the last couple minutes or so of the first period. So it was kind of bookended. It started well for Maryville. It ended pretty well, other than the injuries there that kind of occurred. But outside of that, it was a good start, a good finish for Maryville. That middle point, that's when UCO really kind of started to put their own stamp on the period as well.
Yeah, and you look at the power play that the Saints have. We talked about the penalty kill multiple times for the Broncos, over 95%, 97% heading into this one. But Maryville, when you look at their power play, they had a few opportunities, but it didn't really seem like they generated a lot.
Yeah, they were good. It seemed like initially they would win the face-off. They would kind of get set up, and then once the puck left the zone, and we see this even at the NHL level, it's hard to reestablish yourself, and we saw that, I think, from the Saints on that power play, to where they just never really got themselves back in the zone and under control. And that's going to happen when you're going up against a good penalty kill team like that. So you got to get those chances on net. There was one I thought for Timon Prexler where he was wide open here on the point. Didn't take the shot, still wanted to kind of set things up. I'd like to see him put that towards the net, see if you can get a rebound, keep the shot nice and low, look to put it off a pad. He didn't, and they really didn't generate anything after that.
Yeah, you make a great point. Quick shots from the point because the Broncos are doing a great job blocking shots. So if you give them that time to set themselves in front of the puck, they're obviously they're going to make the block. They're like Coach Hogan, and they had the same mentality for the Maryville squad: is get your body in front of the puck. Sacrifice yourself to make sure the other team stays off the board. But you look at the Saints heading into the second period. What do they need to do essentially to get on the score sheet?
It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I think you got to stay out of the penalty box, because I thought they had a good rhythm within the game before they took those penalties. So if you can keep it a 5-on-5 game, maybe even draw a penalty or two, get yourself on the offensive side of the special teams, maybe then you can generate something, although that's been proven to be difficult against this quality Broncos team. But overall, they got to stay out of the penalty box. Again, easier said than done. But I think if they can make it a 5-on-5 game, pick up the physicality just a notch, because there's been good back and forth flow between the two teams in terms of hits. But I think if they can just kind of get to that game, because that's their game. They like to get the puck in, go in on the forecheck, put the pressure on physically, and throw the other team off their game. And I think if you can do that, then all of a sudden we're going to see a Maryville rally here.
And they'll be doing it with one less forward, as Will Smith was injured towards the back half of that first period. We hope he's okay. We'll hope to get more information on Will Smith. But when you're a forward group and one of your men go down, you have to up the intensity, because it could be your opportunity to get on the ice and put one in the back of the net. So it's going to be that next man up mentality for the Saints heading into the second period, and hopefully that will remain the rest of the game. We are all tied up at 0 apiece. 8 shots for the Saints, 7 for the Broncos. That'll do it for our Lou Fuse intermission report. We have the second period coming your way next, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Maryville Saints hockey right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Hey everyone, I'm Pepe and I'm excited to show you today Hilltop Apartments. Come with me. We're in Elm. This is one of our 5 apartment buildings, and right now we're gonna take a look at our 4-person apartment.
Hey, my name's Drew. This is our 4-bedroom apartment. As you first enter our apartment, we've got the living room. Maryville provides a couch, coffee table, and this chair. We added some of our own decorations, and they also provide this cable TV hookup. And we brought this couch ourselves just to make the room feel more homey. And then we'll go check out the bedrooms. In our 4-bedroom apartment, we have 1 bedroom in the front, 3 bedrooms in the back that also have 2 bathrooms. Thanks so much for visiting our apartment. Let's hand it back over to Pepe.
Right behind the apartments, we have this nice area where we can have a grill, we can hang out with friends, maybe do some homework. And then we also have a laundry room where we can do our laundry for free. Thank you for touring Hilltop Apartments with me. I hope to see you in campus soon.
College hockey. It's more than just what school you play for. More than just another sweater you pull on. It's about focus, determination, strategy, and poise. It's more than just packed rinks and screaming fans. It's about heart, skill, and passion. In nearly 30 years of the ACHA, we don't just play the game of hockey. We are the game of hockey. Hundreds of elite players and coaches from some of the United States and Canada's most prestigious programs. The American Collegiate Hockey Association. More than just a game.
This is the letter I've been telling you about.
This letter is for you. From what I hear, you're supposed to be the next Tom Brady. What I'm about to say is important. Never let them call you the next Tom Brady. When they compare you to the GOATs, tune it out. When they say you're a 6th round draft pick, store it away. Compare yourself to nobody but the kid in the mirror. The one who goes all in, all out, and has the crazy confidence to know that who you are today is just a piece of who you're going to become. This letter's for that you, the one no one will see coming. Sincerely, Tom.
About your dreams, man.
Everyone, I'm Pepe and I'm excited to show you today Hilltop Apartments. Come with me. We're in Elm. This is one of our 5 apartment buildings, and right now we're gonna take a look at our 4-person apartment.
Hey, my name's Drew. This is our 4-bedroom apartment. As you first enter our apartment, we've got the living room. Maryville provides a couch, coffee table, and this chair. We added some of our own decorations, and they also provide this cable TV hookup. And we brought this couch ourselves just to make the room feel more homey. And then we'll go check out the bedrooms. In our 4-bedroom apartment, we have 1 bedroom in the front, 3 bedrooms in the back that also have 2 bathrooms. Thanks so much for visiting our apartment. Let's hand it back over to Pepe.
Right behind the apartments, we have this nice area where we can have a grill, we can hang out with friends, maybe do some homework.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network as we approach period number 2 between the Maryville Saints and the University Central Oklahoma Broncos. Alongside Todd Panula, I'm Andrew Marsh. Todd, we never really got into the goaltending in our intermission report, but what have you seen so far from both netminders?
It's kind of odd because Maryville leads the shot total, but I feel like Ed Coffey's been a little more engaged in the game, and some of that's been his activity outside the net. He's been more than willing to come out of the crease and slow things up in behind the net, especially on those Central Oklahoma power plays. But both teams have gotten their shots off. Both goaltenders got a little lather. They got a little work going. We'll see whether or not they can carry it over here in the second period.
So the second period is underway. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Rim around. And that one is stopped by the blocker of Doug Wakeland. Burton with it. Burton over to Shura. His pass to Simpson hits off his stick. Olsen battling for it. Olsen picks it up for the Saints. Turns it over at the blue line. It's kept in by the Broncos. Near side corner. Corpse is there at the wall. Still in the corner. 2 Saints, 1 Bronco. And the Saints are able to get it out. Dubecki finds Reagan. That one goes past the stick of Ben MacArthur. Broncos with it. Near side, shot on into the skates of Lucas Adams. To the far side, Olsen gets it in deep. MacArthur, the defenseman, in on the forecheck, and he'll peel off. It's rimmed around the boards. Back forward is Hunter. Hunter inside of his own zone. Finds MacArthur at the blue line. Flips it into the neutral zone. Bounces off the stick. Dubecki makes the pass to the near side now. Out front, and that one goes off the stick and into the glove of Ed Coffey. 18:29 remaining here in the second period. Still no score.
We kind of pondered there a minute ago about the goaltending, and Ed Coffey facing an excellent chance against him. And he was very quiet in the net, and I like that. Don't overextend. He could have easily expected that to go cross ice, not put himself in the middle of the net, going too quickly to the far post. Instead, he was in good position to make that stop.
Off the glass, kept in by the Broncos. Timon Prexler in the corner. Bumped off the puck, intercepted. Saints with it. Timon in the corner. Flips it out of the zone. Bouncing puck. Dubecki trying to make the stretch pass. Arm is up, and we'll get an icing with 18:05 left to go here in the second frame. So an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Saints, as we are all tied up 0-0. We're also tied up in shots as well, 8 apiece.
We've seen quite a few icings go against the Broncos, and defensively they know that they're capable of withstanding it, so you'd like to see Maryville win one of these faceoffs clean and get a quick look after one of these icing calls.
Puck below the dots, out front, trying to get a shot off was Chad McElwain. TJ Prexler in the corner. He's bumped off the puck. It's loose. Cameron Ware with it. To the backhand, spins away. Forehand, shot on, stop made, rebound. Unable to get it in is Cameron Ware. Another shot goes just wide. Garrett Hunter at the blue line, unable to keep it in. Mikhailov picks it up, and he'll throw it into the Saint zone. It goes right to Timon Prexler as he picks it up. Looking for Sam Edwards. It goes into the skate, but Timon racing after it. Stretch pass off the stick. Out front. Puck behind the net. To the far side corner. Shot on goes high. To the near side. Skating in is Cameron Williams. He can't come out with it. McElwain. Oh, big hit. Right inside the neutral zone. We'll get a whistle, and we'll get an icing. 16:52 left to go here in the second period, as Chad McElwain took a big hit right between the red line and his own blue line.
But we talked about whether or not Maryville could generate that fortune, good fortune. They almost did about a minute ago or so. The puck was right there on the doorstep for Cameron Ware. Unfortunately for Maryville, his stick was pinned to the ice by the defenders.
Jackson White with it. He'll go D-to-D with Timon Prexler. Gets it back up to the near side. It goes under the stick of Sam Edwards. Arm is up. Icing called. 16:36 left here in the second period. We talked about it in the pregame show. You mentioned last night's game feeling much like a playoff game. I'm sort of getting the same vibes right now. We'll see which team can break through first, as we still have a 0-0 game.
Yeah, the next couple days are going to be incredibly important for recovery for both of these teams, really, but especially on the Maryville side. They've already lost. I mean, we're speculating, but you have to figure that Will Smith's night is probably done. They've had a couple other guys go to the bench after some big hits, so there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises after this one.
Puck sent in. Back forward is Jackson White. White fires one to Sam Edwards just inside of his own zone. He'll play it back for Timon. Off the stick of McLeod. On net. Able to push it to the near side corner is Wakeland. And we'll get a high stick. 16:06 left to go here in the second period. So the Saints will get an offensive zone face-off. Both teams changing. Get some fresh bodies out on the ice. So a big face-off for the Saints here. Like you said, Todd, you'd like to see them win a clean one. When they have taken possession, it hasn't really been that clean. And they lose this one off the glass. Corpse able to keep it in, shoots it back down low. Chartier on the forecheck. Corpse pinches in, able to seal that wall and keep it in for the Saints. It's rimmed around behind the net now. Henderson laying a body behind the net. MacArthur steps up, but the puck goes right between his legs. Arm is up for a brief second, no icing. Zloty back for it. Zloty still with it, pushes it forward. It's able to come out of the zone. Shura, he'll find his man in Cooper Kraus, who dumps it in. Corpse off the glass, bounces off Shura. Kept in the zone by the Broncos. Blaha giving chase as the Saints go D to D. MacArthur off the board. Chartier whacks at it, and we'll get a whistle. 15:23 left to go here in the second period. And it looks like the Saints will be heading to the power play. Cross check. Andre Blaha will sit for 2. So a huge opportunity for the Saints to strike first. 15 minutes, 23 seconds, like I said, left to go here in the second period. So to get a goal within the first 5 or 6 minutes in this second frame will be huge for Maryville.
Now we've seen them, they look pretty good, as we mentioned, on that initial push, but now all of a sudden it's going to be potential odd man rush the other way.
And they catch a break as trying to make that pass was Austin Simpson. He whiffed on the pass. 15-10 remaining. 1:45 left to go in the power play for Maryville. To the near side. Pass intercepted. Poked at. Glove down by Simpson. He has a man driving the net. Hits off the stick. Backhanded shot. It goes wide of the net. Good opportunity for the Broncos on the kill. Cameron Ware picks it up for the Saints. Pushes it forward. Can't get around his man. Wakeland able to get it out of the zone as he came out of the net. Rutkai, sauce pass to Ware. Ware off the boards. McElwain there for the Saints. Dubecki for the Broncos. McElwain to the far side, pinching in as Rutkai, unable to keep it in. And now the Broncos will draw a penalty. Sykes at the blue line, top of the circle, shoots one on. It's poke checked away by Ed Coffey. And the whistle has been blown, so a minute into the Maryville power play, they take a penalty and will skate 4-on-4 for 58 seconds.
And if you're the Saints, you got to be careful here because the referee was very focused there on McElwain, who is going into the box, but McElwain kind of did a pirouette and either stared him down or said something. And in those situations, it's just better to head to the penalty box and take your medicine whether you agree with the call or not, because any further communication is really going to just complicate matters.
Four-on-four hockey for 58 seconds before the Broncos will head to the power play. Puck sent around to the near side. Shura able to keep it in. It's gloved down by Garrett Hunter. Board battle at the hash marks. Timon Prexler with it. Could be a 3-on-2 if he joins the rush. TJ to Edwards. Edwards to the backhand, and he can't get around Wakeland to put it in the back of the net as he was bumped off the puck. And now the Broncos going the other way. 3-on-2 for Central Oklahoma. A slow pass, and now it's intercepted. Saints going the opposite direction. 3-on-2 for Maryville. Edwards loses the puck. He's tripped up. No call. Puck below the dots. Oh, a big hit. Huge hit as Kraus sends Sam Edwards to the ice.
And that was just a well-timed hit. Didn't come off of his skates at all. Or skates didn't leave the ice, I should say, because if he lifts off at all, that's easily called for a penalty. Instead, he just puts the shoulder right into the chest, makes it clean.
So now the Broncos to the power play. Chartier with it, has McLeod. McLeod wide. Chartier cuts to the middle. Oh, and loses the puck. It goes under the stick of Guerrera. 45 seconds remaining on the Broncos power play. Off the stick of Sykes. He's bumped off the puck. Comes up top. Dubecki over to Blaha. Top of the circle. Shoots one on. And we'll get a whistle with 12:50 remaining in the second period, 30 seconds remaining on the Broncos power play. I don't think anybody knew where that puck was, including myself.
I don't remember if it was Sykes or Simpson, but it looked like somebody was starting to put their arm up in the air. I don't know if they thought maybe it had gotten in behind Coffee, but as you mentioned, nobody really knew where it was.
Those are tough shots, too. You expect Andre Blaha to probably go top shelf or something like that. He's got a wicked shot, but that one stayed right on the ice. A good clear by Maryville as time ticks down on the Broncos power play. 20 seconds remaining as Dubecki will pick up the puck. He'll skate up ice. He'll find Sykes at the red line. He loses the puck. However, it's able to get inside the zone. Saints try and clear, hits off a body. Turcotte will shoot it off the boards. Big hit right at the Broncos bench. Stretch pass. Oh, McElwain was sitting all by himself at the Broncos blue line. Turcotte with it. Turcotte to McElwain. McElwain, his shot goes off his stick and out of play with 12:04 remaining in the second. Back to 5-on-5 hockey.
And we haven't seen that final little bit of execution materialize yet, but I like the decision-making of the Saints in the last 2-3 minutes or so, especially there on that last play. An opportunity to shoot it. It does end up getting blocked, but instead of trying to dangle and go past another defender and end up losing it potentially, get a shot on goal, and it leads to at least an offensive zone faceoff.
So a bouncing puck at the blue line. Stepping up has been MacArthur as the Saints take possession inside their own zone. Near side. Flip forward. Puck is bouncing. Trying to get the shot off for the Broncos. They score! Stick and able to put it in the back of the net are the Broncos. Just like that, it's 2-0. Sebastian Dossett.
A little bit similar to the goal that he scored yesterday, just getting in close to the net. Again, it takes a fortunate bounce, comes right to him, and he's able to put it into the upper 90. Absolutely no chance for Coffey to make a save there. It just was too much of a bang-bang play. And now it's going to boil down to a mentality for the Maryville Saints. Are they going to be able to bounce back from this one? Still plenty of ice and hockey left in this one, but they've got to find it deep within themselves.
We'll get a whistle as a shot on, hit off a stick, went out of play. 11:22 left to go here in the second period. And if you're tuning in right now, you can see myself and Todd. We're having some troubles with our camera. Not this one, though. We'll do an old-fashioned radio broadcast for you as there is a shot on from the blue line. Stop made by Ed Coffey. Another whistle with 11:18 left to go.
But if you're the Saints, it's already snowballed a little bit. You can allow that first goal. Basically, on the next shift, a second one goes in. You cannot allow a third one, especially, I would say, really within this period. But the Saints need to find a way to get the next goal and get themselves back into this one.
Puck comes up to the blue line, far side. Kept in by Central Oklahoma. Puck is bouncing. Saints unable to clear. They finally do. With the puck now is McLeod. Cross corner dump in to the far side. TJ Prexler there. Timon with it at the blue line. Timon waits, spins around. Can't get the shot off. It's going the other way for the Broncos as they dump it in. No icing. Heavy forecheck for Central Oklahoma. Hunter pins his man up against the boards behind the net. It hits off the glass. Chopped at by TJ Prexler. It's kept in. Shura funnels it down low to the far side. At the hash marks, it's kicked at. Broncos still maintain possession. However, the Saints get it and exit the zone. And now a 2-on-1. Sam Edwards with Prexler. Edwards to Prexler. Shoots. Oh, what a stop made by Doug Wakeland with 10:09 left to go in the second period. He keeps it a 2-0 game in favor of the Broncos.
Fantastic opportunity for the Saints. Even better save made by Wakeland. Ideally, if things worked out as best they could, you'd like to see the shot materialize sooner, but the defender goes down, takes the pass away. Edwards still makes a great play to get it across, and then there just wasn't an opportunity to get it off the stick for Prexler any sooner than he did, so that allowed the goaltender to recover just enough to get the glove on it.
That was a much-needed save by Wakeland as the Saints, with a 2-on-1, unable to capitalize. That could have brought them back into this one. And here come the Saints once again. Edwards with it, enters into the zone. Top of the circle, looks up, funnels it down low for Turcotte. Turcotte funnels one to the front of the net, bouncing puck. Broncos come out with it and send it around the boards. It's kept in at the blue line. Oh, apparently not, as the linesman says it went offsides with 9:30 left here in the second period. 2-0 in favor of Central Oklahoma. Doug Wakeland, the netminder for the Broncos, keeps it 2-0 with a big stop.
And those are the moments that we talked about, to where you just need it to go your way just once to get yourself back into the game, and so far it hasn't.
Flipped in, bouncing puck, and Wakeland puts a glove on it. Now we get a couple shoves right outside the blue paint with 9:22.
And if you're the Saints, you want to stand up for yourself. You don't want to get pushed around or anything, but they don't need to get into these extracurricular battles either. So we saw it kind of devolve last night to where Maryville started getting a little too much interested in what was going on after the whistle.
Face-off won by the Saints, and false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty will do it once again, Todd. Saints win it again. Rutkai at the blue line to the backhand, shovels it down low. Burton's there on his backhand. Hits off a glove and comes out of the zone. D to D, the Saints go. Rutkai, near side red line, flips it in. Another bouncing puck, and Wakeland will put a glove on it. We'll get a stop with 9:04 remaining in the second frame. Still 2-0 in favor of Central Oklahoma.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the way the game is going right now, it favors the Broncos. Just trying to bounce pucks in on net, get the face-offs, but each time that allows more time to come off the clock. So Maryville's going to have to find a way to get something sustained here.
Broncos with it. They skate up ice. Adam Stalzer fires one on, and that's going to hop into the glove of Ed Coffey. We'll get another whistle, 8:54. Except for this time, Central Oklahoma will get an offensive zone face-off.
Yeah, you made the football analogy just a moment ago, and now it just feels like both teams are punting back and forth.
Which is exactly what I thought we would see on Thursday Night Football between the Bears and the Commanders. However, Todd, the Bears come out with their first victory of the season, which was something that surprised me.
Yeah, the way they had been going earlier in the year, I figured they'd be the second team to go winless in the last decade or so.
Timon Prexler fires one off the glass as the Saints clear the zone. Broncos able to get it back in. Corpse behind the net. Loses the puck for a split second. Maryville looking to clear. They do. They bring it back in. That was Sam Edwards. McElwain showing pressure. Fired up the far side boards, kept in. Wrist shot, Ware with it. Top of the slot, shoots one on, doesn't make its way towards the net, at least on target. Ware behind the net, looking to feed one out front to McElwain. He couldn't. McElwain gets a glove on it, but the Broncos are able to clear the zone. They fire it down, and Coffey comes out of his cage. We'll see what the commotion is on the far side of the ice. 8:03 remaining here in the second period, and this is not what Coach Hogan wants at all right now. Of course, we'll stay at full strength. No one going to the power play, but Sam Edwards, who's been a big contributor for this Maryville team all season long, will sit for at least 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that takes one of the key pieces offensively for the Saints out of the equation. So, as you mentioned, Coach Hogan not going to be pleased with that. And The Broncos are more than content to allow this kind of play continue because it favors them. They know that they're starting to get under the Saints' skin a little bit.
I was just going to say the physicality has heightened here in the second period, and UCO is throwing the body around, doing a great job, and they're doing a great job of just getting into position and winning those board battles as well.
Now to kind of counteract what we talked about, obviously you don't want to lose Edwards, and it will stay 5-on-5. I was wondering if it would go to 4-on-4 because that would somewhat benefit the Saints. They seem to utilize the open space earlier in the game pretty well, but it does say with both teams at full strength, which I still haven't figured out what the difference is. Like, why do you lose the man one time and then the next time you're still at 5-on-5?
Todd, I didn't write the rule book, but if I did, I'd let you know.
I expect answers here.
I'm sorry I let you down. Ursulak at the blue line. It hits off his stick. Kept in by Henderson. Far side. Adams with it at the blue line. To the backhand down low for Henderson. In the corner. Spins away. Still with it. Blaha lifts the stick, and now Blaha will get it out of the zone. Back forward is Jackson White. White looks up. Off the stick. Stays in the zone for a second. It's flipped out. Down the ice, no icing. Henderson lays a hit. Adams looking for Ursulak, who was driving towards the net, and Ursulak's going to head to the penalty box. Broncos going the opposite way. They dump it in. Back for it is McLeod. He'll touch the puck. We'll get a whistle, and Brett Ursulak will sit for 2. Most likely a check from behind. And it is 6:57 remaining here in the second period, and this is not what you want to see if you're Coach Hogan. Ursulak, who sort of activated, driving the net, looking for that pass from Lucas Adams. They did not connect, and in doing so, laying the cross check and heading to the sin bin. So UCO has an opportunity here to pad their lead and make it a 3-0 game. They have not connected yet on the power play.
And that's one of those situations to where you have to find a way to be a little bit smarter. It's kind of a retaliatory penalty. The puck is already gone. The play is already dematerialized. And all of a sudden you find yourself in the box and an opportunity, as you mentioned, Marcy, for UCO to go up by 3, so now it depends on the penalty kill.
Dubecki with it. Over to Simpson. Back to Dubecki. Top of the blue line. Looks up. Over to Blaha. Back to J.C. Dubecki. Simpson loses the puck, and it is cleared. Corpse going off for a line change. Hunter will hop on the ice. MacArthur off to the bench, and Jackson White is out on the ice. 30 seconds have gone by in the Broncos power play. An errant pass will lead to an icing with 6:24 remaining in the second period. Central Oklahoma can't connect on the pass. However, they still lead 2-0.
We've said it a couple times, but still plenty of time left in this one. It's only the second period, still 6:24 left in the middle frame too. But you got to just finally connect on some of those passes. You got to play a little smarter, which we're seeing here with White killing off some time.
Blaha pokes it forward. Blaha has a man driving the net. Shot on. Stop made by Ed Coffey. 6:14 left to go in the second period. 1:17 remains on the Brett Ursulak minor. Jackson White, they win that faceoff. He's at the blue line. He elects to take it back to kill some clock. However, he couldn't dump it down. So do you like that play if you're Coach Hogan, or would you rather see him just fire one on?
I like the initial idea of back off, kill off a couple seconds, and then get rid of the puck. But you can't play it that close to one of their attacking players, especially as he's coming into your grill. You just have to play it up the wall. Try something simple.
So the Broncos fire one on, pad save made, and TJ Prexler is there to clear it. Wakeland comes out of his net. He'll leave it for Burton, who will scoop it up behind the cage, and he'll skate up ice to the far side. Punched in, a huge hit by Ben MacArthur. Rimmed around to the near side. Behind the net. Back to the far side of the ice to Burton, top of the key. Finds Mikhailov. Couldn't get the shot off. Looks up. Wrist one on. That one hit off a skate and goes just wide of the cage. Maryville picks it up and will at least clear it. They could not get it down the length of the ice. UCO at the red line to the far side. Back inside their zone. Cash Reagan with it. Reagan at the red line. Pushes it forward. He'll go in on the forecheck. MacArthur back for the Saints. Chops at it. Broncos come out with it. Burton. Far side blue line to Mikhailov. Near side. Back to Burton. Top of the key. Looks up. Wrist shot on. It's blocked. Back down low. Far side. Pad save made by Coffey. He's stuck. Able to get back up and makes another save. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. And now the Saints are going the opposite way. Turcotte with Corpse. Oh, and they lose the puck. And now the Broncos, Mikhailov with it. Top of the circle, looks up, dances, shoots. Stop made by Coffey. You have to get a shot off there, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, the puck was rolling a little bit, so when he tried to pass it off, it kind of slipped off of his blade. But as you said, Marcia, you got to find a way to get a shot off. I don't care if it was Turcotte that just took it himself or settled the puck down first and then got something off towards the middle of the ice.
And the referees need to see that the scoreboard is not working. The scoreboard is off.
That happened briefly last night. I don't know if it's a power hiccup with the display or what have you, but you have to figure that somebody's got to be keeping track of time.
I hope so. I sure hope so, and we'll get a whistle as the door comes open. The linesman goes down. The clock finally comes back on. What is going on here at the Maryville University Hockey Center?
I believe Maryville's going to be shorthanded again as well. Looks like a roughing call.
So we'll see what they do about the clock, because I want to say at least 30 to 40 seconds had gone by as we get some colorful words coming from the fans.
That was good emphasis on that second word.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if our listeners, our viewers can hear the fans that are cheering loud, but we apologize for those colorful words, Todd.
It's a good way to put it.
Absolutely. And, you probably hear a little bit more when you head to the rink, but got some passionate fans here at Maryville.
Right. They care about what's going on, and obviously they've got Maryville tinted glasses on and don't like the fact that there was a penalty handed out. But it goes both ways, because I saw on that absolutely beautiful, clean hip check thrown by Ben MacArthur a couple minutes ago, half the bench for Central Oklahoma had their arms up in the air like, where's the penalty? It's like, well, that was a clean hit. Just because your guy went down doesn't mean it's automatically going to put somebody in the box.
I thought the fan was upset about the clock. You make a great point, though. Didn't even think about the penalty that had just occurred. But regardless, the clock looks to be working again. And that means it shows 2 minutes on the board. Chad McElwain to the box for Maryville. So the Broncos will set up on the power play once again, looking to make it a 3-0 game. Sykes with it at the blue line. To Dubecki, back to Sykes, back down low for Simpson. Simpson with it on his forehand to his backhand, funnels it down low. Sykes loses the puck. Simpson there to help him out. Simpson drops it off Dubecki. Dubecki a shot, and it's blocked by Corpse. McLeod racing after it, can't get it. Whiffing on the clearing attempt is Chartier. Puck to the near side corner. Simpson battling for it for UCO. Dubecki able to keep it in at the blue line. Sykes with it. Blaha shoots one on, and that hits off his stick and goes high of the net. In the corner. Saints able to grab it and clear it. Wakeland, stretch pass. Can't find his teammate. Corpse with it at his own blue line. Able to send it back down low inside the Broncos zone. Dubecki taken down by Turcotte. Less than a minute to go on the power play for Central Oklahoma. Skating up ice is Dossett. He has 1 goal. He scored the 2nd goal tonight for the Broncos. Up top to the blue line. Burton with it. To the near side for Reagan. Cash Reagan, far side. Mikhailov back down low. Gets it back. Shoots and scores. On the power play, the Broncos capitalize. A fantastic shot from Vitaly Mikhailov. 33 seconds remaining on that power play. The Broncos make it a 3-0 game with 2:17 remaining here in the middle frame.
And you just knew eventually that could happen because you're given opportunity after opportunity on special teams with a power play as good as UCO has. Although they haven't been as good on the road, nevertheless, you keep giving them the chance, and they're able to bury one.
Saints look to break out, flip forward, foot race. Edwards on the puck, trying to create some position as Kraus was the man in the area. Fired one on, and that one stopped by Doug Wakeland. 1:57 remaining here in the second period. The Saints not only looking for their first goal of the game, looking for their first goal of the weekend.
Yeah, offense has been hard to come by, obviously, and credit to the goaltenders. They haven't been tested incredibly often, but they've been sharp.
Oh my goodness, Sam Edwards on the backhand hits the post. It does not go in. That would have been a big one for Maryville. Sorry to cut you off there, Todd.
No, you're good. From my vantage point, I thought it might have hit the back bar, but the referee clearly signaled no goal, and unfortunately there's no instant replay available here.
Zalotti in the corner for the Saints. He'll feed it back down low for Brett Ursulak. Ursulak with it. Errant pass, it hits off the boards. Edwards chops at it, steps up as Ursulak makes a hit at the blue line. Coffey pushes one to the far side. Ursulak having trouble picking up the puck, and he'll head to the bench. And by bench, I mean the penalty box. Another power play incoming for the Broncos. 1:24 remaining here in the second period. 3-0. Broncos lead. Looking to make it 4-0 heading into the third period. So it seems like the train has come off the tracks for the Saints in the second period. It was a 0-0 game after one.
I mean, we try our best to be pretty middle of the road as much as we can here, but I don't understand what Ursulak is supposed to do in that situation. The puck gets caught up with the linesman in the corner, and he's trying to figure out where it at. He's seeing somebody coming up to put a check on him.
Yeah.
And he reverses it, and all of a sudden it ends up as a roughing call. I don't see how that works out.
Slap shot, hits off a body, goes wide. I've never been the biggest fan of the back referee making a call from 150 feet away. Mikhailov to the far side for Reagan. Back to the near side, blue line, Mikhailov with it. He just tacked on his first goal of the game, made it a 3-0 game. Slap shot goes wide. Reagan drops it back. Back down low. Reagan out front, it hits off a stick. Back up top of the blue line, Burton wrist shot, hits off the shin pad, and the Saints are able to clear it. 40 seconds remaining in the period. Cash Reagan skates up ice on the forehand at the dot, fires one on, and stop is made by Ed Coffey. 33.8 seconds remaining here in the second period. Seems like all the juice has left the building here after the Broncos made it 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, 2-0 was going to be difficult to come from behind anyway, and all of a sudden you finally allow a power play goal against, and The Saints have been excellent on the penalty kill here at home. They had not allowed a penalty or a power play goal, I should say, here on home ice prior to this series. Now they've allowed 2.
Dubecki, top of the blue line to Blaha. Back to Dubecki. Dubecki to Simpson. Near side. Back down low. Sykes with it. Up to Dubecki. Dubecki looks, waits. Over to Sykes. Sykes, top of the circle. Finds Blaha. His wrist shot doesn't make its way through. It's kept in by Dubecki. Top of the circle, far side. He'll bring it up top to Blaha. Over to Sykes, who wrist shot on. Stop has been made by Ed Coffey. Bouncing puck shot high of the cage. And that'll do it for this one here in the second period.
That started off pretty well for Maryville. Unfortunately, as you mentioned during the broadcast, kind of went off the tracks. And you just can't give a team of this quality that many power play looks, and eventually they cracked through.
So a 3-0 lead for Central Oklahoma heading into the second intermission. We'll break things down with our Lou Fuse intermission report. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Maryville Saints hockey right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
St. Louis has a great history of sports.
We love our baseball.
Baseball is nuts. It's crazy here.
When we go back to St. Louis, we got to see the Cardinals play or the Blues.
St. Louis has such a rich history of soccer. This city is ready for an MLS team. It's really such a sports city, and you have to just experience the environment.
That's what makes St. Louis such a special place.
It's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency year after year for me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always the parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a Warrior.
Unforgettable moments can happen anytime, anywhere. When we sit down and have a meal, the simplest joys turn into magic. All it takes is good company, great food, and a nice cold Coca-Cola. That's a recipe for magic.
To get more out of your engine, demand more from what you put into it. Go the distance with Schaefer Racing. Supreme 7000 Synthetic Plus Racing Oil. Penetro 90. Molly Ultra Grease. Schaefer, the choice of home track heroes.
What you want, Lou Fuse has got it.
For the past 70 years, Lou Fuse has called St. Louis home, growing our dealership and community family, delivering the best experience.
LOUFUSZ, where we'll treat you right, you'll see. RESPECT, get the respect that you'll need.
With 17 brands, 12 dealerships, thousands of new, certified pre-owned, used, and motorsport vehicles, and millions of happy customers, Lou Fuse is here for you. Year after year, Lou Fuse has been proud to support youth athletics, honored to give back to community charities, and happy to deliver the respect and customer service you deserve.
LOUFUSZ, treat you right for
Come celebrate our 70th anniversary with us with anniversary savings and specials all year long. And everyone gets the Fuse Family Promise, including warranties on new and Fuse certified vehicles, a money-back guarantee, and exchange policy.
L-O-U-F-U-S-Z, where we treat you right, you'll see.
Hello, everyone. I hope you've had a great summer. As the school year gets started across the country, we're excited to also welcome you back to another great season of hockey. Thanks for being a part of the USA Hockey family. I want you to know that our volunteers and our staff work every single day as hard as they can to make sure hockey is the best sports experience in every community in our country. Within USA Hockey, you're part of an organization that's a world leader in development, safety, fun, and success, and one that is committed to fostering a welcoming environment for all by building a diverse, equitable, and inclusive game. Hockey is played in thousands of communities across our entire country. Please join me in keeping the momentum going by inviting at least one new person to get involved with hockey this year. It doesn't matter if it's someone who wants to play, coach, officiate, volunteer, or just be a fan. We're excited about sharing the joy our sport brings with as many people as possible. I would also like to offer a friendly reminder to make sure that respect is top of mind every time you enter the rink or take to the ice for a game or practice this season. That includes making sure that we never use hateful or discriminatory language, as it has absolutely no place in our game or in our society. It's on all of us to make sure that we respect the game, including playing within the rules, treating officials with respect, giving our best, and being a good teammate. In the end, hockey is about fun, so let's make sure we never lose sight of that. Here's to a great season ahead, one filled with friendship, respect, success, and most of all, plenty of smiles.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. It's now time for our Lou Fuse intermission report as the Broncos lead the Saints by a score of 3-0. Todd, not a great period for the Saints in that middle frame. They started off well in the first period. However, it looked like it has been all Broncos ever since.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned it in the first intermission to where it needed to be a 5-on-5 game, and it has not been at all. The Saints kind of let things get off the rails, as you pointed out, taking too many penalties, allowing them to get under the opponent to get under their skin a little too much. And it's easy for us to say up here in the broadcast booth, you got to keep things under control. But when you're playing a quality team like this, you cannot allow them to have that many man advantage opportunities. And eventually they broke through. Now the score was already 2-0 at the time, so that ends up being the third goal. But just overall, there wasn't enough offensive opportunities because you're spending the majority of the period trying to kill off penalties, and they only end up with 5 shots for Maryville, and that's just not going to cut the mustard.
Yeah, and you mentioned the amount of offensive chances. They did have a 2-on-1, and Doug Wakeland, the netminder for the Broncos, came up with a big stop that kept it at 2-0, and then the Broncos would go on to make it 3-0 before the period ended. But I think that was a crucial part of that second period, because if the Saints end up scoring and make it a 2-1 game, this is a completely different game the rest of the way.
Yeah, and the bounces haven't gone Maryville's way, but we saw in the first period they were kind of creating their own luck, and it just wasn't necessarily coming through for them. Here in the second period, that started to get away from them a little bit too much, because they had that opportunity. They had that other chance to where you've got to get a shot off. You really need Turcotte to either put that on net or settle the puck down and get it across. Good defensive plays were made in both opportunities by the Broncos, but Maryville has to find a way to get those at least on net. In the one opportunity, they did force the good save by Wakeland, but just overall, there hasn't been quite enough.
Yeah, and you mentioned the amount of times that Maryville's been in the sin bin. The Broncos finally do capitalize on the power play, and that has been the struggle, it seems like, all season for the Saints, is just staying out of the penalty box. Now, you can argue maybe some of the calls shouldn't have been made. We mentioned that at the end of the period where Brett Ursulak takes a penalty. The far referee makes the call from the far blue line. You know, I personally, I don't love those calls, but nevertheless, you got to kill off the penalty, and it just seems like Maryville has really put themselves in a hole by doing so, by heading to the box all game long.
Yeah, you've got an uphill climb as it is. You're already down 3-0. And clearly, I think what is exemplified by that last call, the referees are looking for stuff now. They want to keep this game under control. They don't want to allow any messages to be sent or anything like that. So Maryville's got to find a way to clean things up, whether you agree with the calls that were made or not. The officials are now going to be looking to put people in the box just to keep this one under wraps. So that's going to put an even sharper focus on staying out of the box somehow, even if you just want to keep the score respectable or even potentially give yourself a chance to come back in the third period.
Well, let's see if the Saints can come back. They trail by 3 heading into the final minute or final 20 minutes of play. It'd be tough if they only had a minute to come back and score 3 goals. 20 minutes.
They had 3 seconds potentially get a power play goal, so you never know.
Well, it didn't work out. So hopefully they can climb back into this one with 20 minutes left to go here in this one. We'll be back for the third period. The Central Oklahoma Broncos lead your Maryville Saints by a score of 3-0. We'll be back for the third right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Welcome to Maryville University.
Welcome to Saints Nation.
Home of the Big Red M.
So what does it mean to be a Maryville Saint?
It's more than just going to classes.
As Saints, we are passionate about what we believe in.
We are open-minded and curious about other.
We know this about life at Maryville.
Your best experiences will happen when you get involved.
Make sure to get involved on campus.
We work hard.
But we have a lot of fun too.
We have a passion to see each other succeed.
You might have a few hiccups along the way.
Or maybe something more serious. When we run into adversity,
We have faculty and staff here to provide support.
we stand with our fellow Saints through the good times.
And the difficult times.
So be sure to seek out help when you need it.
We know that here at Maryville,
We are never alone.
the spirit of Maryville flows through each person that steps foot on our campus.
Being a Saint is that feeling that Maryville University is your community.
That even when you're far away from home,
You are home.
We're on this journey together.
We are Maryville University.
One team, one family.
There comes a time where it's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency year after year for me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always the parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a Warrior.
There's a whole lot of wonder in the little word, why. It's uncovering how things work, what things are. Why is endless. Why is ageless, and it's for everyone to explore. At the St. Louis Science Center, the wonder of why is why we exist. We create it inside our building and in our community. Why is where wonder begins, and the St. Louis Science Center brings it to life. Come visit.
Unforgettable moments can happen anytime, anywhere. When we sit down and have a meal, the simplest joys turn into magic. All it takes is good company, great food, and a nice cold Coca-Cola. That's a recipe for magic.
Welcome to Maryville University,
Welcome to Saints Nation.
home of the Big Red M.
So what does it mean to be a Maryville Saint?
It's more than just going to classes.
As Saints, we are passionate about what we believe in.
We are open-minded and curious about other points of view.
And we know this about life at Maryville.
Your best experiences will happen when you get involved.
Make sure to get involved on campus.
We work hard.
But we have a lot of fun too.
We have a passion to see each other succeed.
You might have a few hiccups along the way.
Or maybe something more serious.
When we run into adversity,
We have faculty and staff here to provide support.
We stand with our fellow Saints through the good times.
And the difficult.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network as we get set for the third period of play between the Saints and the Central Oklahoma Broncos. The Broncos lead this one 3-0. Alongside Todd Panula, I'm Andrew Marsh. We're getting set for the third period here at the Maryville University Hockey Center in Chesterfield, Missouri. The Saints have a tall task ahead of them if they want to get back into this one, down by 3. Not only that, they have to kill a penalty. 35 seconds remaining on the kill. Broncos will take possession inside their own zone. J.C. Dubecki skates up ice. To the near side for Andre Blaha. Cross corner dump in. Corpse is there for the Saints. To the backhand, no one at the blue line. It comes out of the zone, and Dubecki will race back and pick it up on his backhand. He'll stop behind the net. Felix Turcotte standing there at the dot. He'll back up as Dubecki skates up ice. He'll flip it in. Off the dasher, Timon rims it around to the near side. It's kept in by the Broncos. Timon gets it back for the Saints. Flips it into the neutral zone. Far side, it's chopped at. And now the Broncos have it. Inside the zone, Reagan couldn't connect with the pass. And the Saints are able to clear it. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Pass intercepted. Sent back in. Lucas Adams in on the forecheck. Tries to dance around his man. Stick is lifted. That was TJ Prexler. Adams picks it up, far side corner. On his backhand, finds Timon Prexler. Prexler, wrist shot on it, hits off his brother who was standing right in front of the net. You like to see bodies in front of the net, but that one did not make its way through. Far side corner. Mikhailov sends one off the glass. It's going to go the length of the ice. And we'll get an icing with 18-13 remaining here in the third period. Still a 3-0 game. And that's what you like to see, though, Todd, from the defense of Maryville. We mentioned it earlier in the game. It seemed like they were taking a little too much time firing one on. That time, Timon gets it through. However, it hit his brother, who was standing right outside the blue paint.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly fire there. And as you mentioned, you like to see guys in front of the net. You like to see the defenders take the shots. Unfortunately, in a game where shots have been hard to come by, you end up blocking your own.
Puck bouncing off a few shin pads. The shot was made at the blue line from Ben MacArthur. Down low, McLeod battling for it. MacArthur's there for the Saints. Zalotti at the blue line. That pass goes off the boards as Rutkai's there. Finds MacArthur, it hits off his stick. Shura back for it. He'll reverse it up the ice, and it'll go out of play. 17:40 remaining here in the third period. It seems like that's been the story all night long for the Saints, is they make a pass and it just hits right off the stick and they lose possession of the puck.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of that last night too, to where the energy was there. They were playing well overall, but it's just that execution where they weren't quite hitting it on the tape. The shots weren't necessarily getting through, and I think frustration started to build throughout that contest, and we saw it a little bit in the second period with frustrating moments, penalties being taken. So they just have to kind of calm themselves down, simplify everything, try to get the next goal. That's basically all you can do right now.
Hits off a skate. Puck comes out of the zone, far side red line, and it hits off somebody on the bench. And we'll get a whistle, 17:02. We'll have to go in the third. But yeah, like you mentioned, just not a lot of connectivity, if that's a word.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with it. I'll have to look that one up when this game is over, just to make sure. Puck inside the Saints zone, far side. White with it to the middle of the ice. Henderson, one-touch pass. Bounces over the stick of Chartier. Broncos fire one on, and Ed Coffey makes the snag, and we'll get another whistle. We talked about flow before the start of the game. It seemed like there was a decent amount of flow throughout the first two periods, but here in the third, it seems like we're getting a whistle every 15 to 30 seconds.
Exactly, and we saw that a lot, and I think that's why it took so long for goals to come in yesterday's game, because there just wasn't a whole lot of flow. And right now, this definitely favors Central Oklahoma, because they're just trying to see this game out. They don't need any more goals, so the more you can just kind of chip it in and get it in towards goal, force face-offs, the less opportunity you're giving Maryville to come back.
Hogan off the board, slap shot on. Goes well wide as Timon Prexler didn't get all of it on.
He's kind of checking out that stick, seeing if there's any flaws in it or anything, but unfortunately for him, the angle of the blade just wasn't the way it needed to be.
And that's what I do when I shank one into the woods, Todd, when I'm golfing.
It's always the club's fault, or the glove's fault if you're playing baseball, what have you.
Shot on in the high slot. Puck is loose, and able to put a glove on it is Wakeland. Gets the whistle, and now we'll get some pushing and shoving. And that's something Maryville does not need to be a part of. They do not need to head to the penalty box. Down 3, 15:56 remaining here in the third period. Saints looking for their first goal of the weekend, being outscored 5-0 through these two games against Central Oklahoma.
But that play there showcases how every second is so precious when you're playing against a team of this quality. We saw it on the partial breakaways earlier in the contest, where just that little extra second that they don't have ends up being the difference between maybe a goal and not. And the same kind of incident there, to where Adams gets a good shot off, but the defender is right there, just absolutely no time for it to actually get a good look and try to put it into the upper corner.
Rutkai with that shot from the blue line. Maryville doing a good job of getting guys in front of the net. However, they could not score. They have it now inside the Broncos zone, and we will get a penalty. Hogan is not happy with the officials. Coach Hogan yelling at the referee, and somebody was just ejected. It might be Coach Hogan.
Yeah, I believe it is. So Maryville's going to be short a player and without their head coach, and the frustration just flowing out of Coach Hogan. And he's a pretty fiery guy, but you don't normally see him that demonstrative, especially towards the officials. But it's one of those situations where this crew, at least here tonight, has been on a pretty short leash. Coach Hogan was not happy with the non-call that happened with one of his players taken down in the offensive end, and he let that trail official know about it. And unfortunately, usually is the case, they're not going to make that call up, and the next one ends up going against the Saints.
So we'll see how this all sorts out, but Coach Hogan getting some round of applause from the fans. And if you're a player on that bench, I feel like, at least if I was on that bench, that would fire me up. My coach going to bat for me, it reminds me of, a manager in baseball going out and settling things with an umpire. If there was a missed call, usually it's balls and strikes, which you can't really argue, but managers do anyways. But that gives you confidence as a player that your coach is willing to go to bat for you. So we'll see if perhaps Coach Hogan being ejected from this one will spark this Maryville squad. They'll have to kill off a penalty first. But 2 minutes.
That's exactly what I thought as that was going on, and he kept going at the official and at the official. I think he was trying to kind of inspire something within his team. Maybe not even necessarily a comeback, because now all of a sudden they're down 5-on-3, but just to kind of get the fire lit at least a little bit.
So the music is still playing, and now it is not. Dubecki with it.
Everybody's just a little bit off here tonight.
Not us, Todd, not us.
We've been on point. I'm impressed.
Dubecki with it, top of the circle. Slap shot on, stop made by Ed Coffey with 15:08 remaining in the third period. Keeps it a 3-0 game as 26 seconds have gone off the clock on the 5-on-3. We got to be a little humble here. We've been a little off. A little off. Not everybody's perfect.
Speak for yourself.
Blaha with it to Dubecki. Dubecki to Simpson. Simpson back to Dubecki. Looks up, top of the circle to Blaha. Back to Dubecki. Looks up, finds Blaha again. They go back and forth. Dubecki down low for Simpson. Shot wide. And Blaha unable to keep it in. Finds Dubecki at the blue line. Drops it back for Simpson. Dubecki with it again. Top of the circle, near side to Blaha. Back down low, far side. Dubecki with it. Top of the circle, near side. Simpson, Blaha, his shot does not fire away as the puck bounces over his stick. Broncos with it. They turn it over at the blue line. Cash Reagan spins away at his own blue line. Hits the M at center ice. Stops. He'll slow things down. 20 seconds left to go on the 5-on-3. Near side. Reagan, top of the circle. Fired one on, and Ed Coffey makes another stop. Vitaly Mikhailov, the shooter. 9 seconds remaining on the 5-on-3 power play for the Broncos. 13:43 left to go here in the third period.
I have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Well, you didn't earlier.
Okay.
So if you have a 5-on-3, and let's say for the sake of this argument they don't score, does that count as 2 power plays statistically? Like if you haven't had a power play yet and all of a sudden you have a 5-on-3 and you don't score, are you 0 for 2?
13:27 remaining here in the third period. I believe so. Puck squirts loose. Now it's in the near side corner. Jackson White trying to spin away behind the net. Comes out front, hits off the stick of Chartier, and comes out of the zone. It's sent back in as Jackson White will fish the puck. Near side corner, looks up, stretch pass, goes off Chartier. Linesman looks up and will blow the whistle and then put his arm up I thought that may have hit off Chartier at the red line. He's pleading his case. He will not get that call, as we will have an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Broncos.
Yeah, he was saying it clearly went off my knee or the pant leg, but the referee's like, well, it didn't look like it to me.
Saints off the draw, skating up ice. That's Ursulak. He lays a big hit. He lost the puck, though. Jackson White off the boards. Stopped at the red line. Kraus with it. Pushes it forward. Ehab throws it in deep. White with it. Rims it around to the far side. Trying to chip it out with Sam Edwards. It's back down low. Rimmed around to the near side hash marks. TJ Prexler pushes it forward. Brett Ursulak slapping at the puck. He comes out with it. Finds Sam Edwards. Edwards skates up ice at the blue line. Tries to dance around his man. Pushes one towards the net, but it goes wide of the cage. McElwain up top to the blue line. Corpse stops, shoots one on, hits off a shin pad. Timon Prexler waits, drags, shoots, and it's stopped by Wakeland with 12:03 left here in the third period. You like to see the shots from the blue line. A couple of them still being blocked, but that one made its way through.
Yeah, the only negative about that shot was the fact that it was a little bit of a riser, so it ended up hitting the goaltender right in the stomach. If Maryville manages to keep that a little bit closer to the ice, maybe it sneaks through the 5-hole, but just an excellent opportunity to get it through the two defenders that were in front of Timon Prexler to begin with.
Rimmed around to the far side. Broncos able to get it out. Timon Prexler with it inside of his own zone. Finds Edwards. He's stripped of the puck. Blaha lost his stick, but he continues to skate up ice, kicking at the puck. He's knocked down. McLeod is there. Off the stick. Far side hash mark. Zloty chops it back to Prexler. Finds Corpse. Corpse at his own blue line. Stretch pass. Finds McLeod. McLeod in, backhand shoots. Oh, it goes off the pipe.
Gotta be kidding.
Maryville with no luck tonight. They still maintain possession. Edwards pinned up against the boards on the far side. Between the hash marks and the Broncos bench. Central Oklahoma able to get it out. It goes the length of the ice, no icing. Line change coming for the Saints. Henderson into the skates of Timon Prexler. He has it to the backhand. Finds Ware. Ware hits Henderson at the red line. He chips it in right off the linesman. Comes up top to the blue line. However, Simpson was there to grab it, not MacArthur. Knocked down by Coffey. He shoots one. It's off the shin pad of Rutkai. Fired one on. Stop is made by Coffey into the corner. Rutkai with it. Off the glass. That goes over Burton. He'll retrieve it inside of his own zone. He'll play it back behind the net. 10:30 remaining here in the third period. Maryville can't catch a break.
Yeah, two plays within this game that you thought for sure they were going to end up in the back of the net the way the play materialized, but unfortunately for them, they end up hitting the red pipe.
I'd argue three. You had the 2-on-1. You had the Sam Edwards backhanded shot that hit off the pipe. And then Luke McLeod went to the backhand. That one also hit off the post. And now we'll get an offsides with 9:57 remaining here in the third period. Still a 3-0 lead for the Broncos. Just got a text from our friend Chuck Kraus showing me that connectivity is actually a word. It is the state or extent of being connected or interconnected. So appreciate you, Chuck Kraus, for making sure I don't sound stupid.
He's got to do something.
I'm glad he is bringing something to this broadcast.
It's about as much as he provides when he's actually here, so.
Broncos with it inside their own zone. Near side to far side. Shura intercepted by Adams. Adams drags, shoots, and hits the post. It goes out of play with 9:31 left to go here in the third period. Another shot hitting off the red pipe. This time it goes out of play.
Well, that first one in the second period was pretty close to the crossbar, and now we've hit both posts left and right, so they've hit the trio there.
And usually, at least if you're in practice, there's no goalie. You try and hit the pipe, and that counts as a goal. Unfortunately, that is not the name of the game here tonight. Off the boards, Broncos exit the zone. Cash Reagan trying to split the defense. He's bumped off the puck in the corner. Skates by it. Comes up top to the blue line. Wrist shot on. Goes wide. TJ Prexler finds Jackson White. Stretch pass off the stick of Lucas Adams. It does not make its way into the zone all the way down. Dubecki was able to grab it, and now UCO fires it down. Timon with it. Timon, stretch pass off the stick of Turcotte. No one there except for the Broncos defenseman and David Burton. Sent back into the Maryville zone. Far side hash marks. With it now is Corpse. Corpse off the skate of Turcotte. Sent back in. Timon going back for it, near side corner. Plays it around to the far side. Hitting the corner, and now the physicality is coming out. Broncos with it. Good stick by Felix Turcotte. McLeod gets whacked out. Now the Saints will head to the power play. And it is touched with 7:55 remaining. Let's make sure that it remains a Maryville power play. No extracurriculars at this point in the game. 7:55, down 3-0. The Saints with an opportunity with the man advantage.
Yeah, they had a couple early power plays in the contest, and then it's been nothing to speak of since then, except for penalty kills on the Maryville side. So we'll see what they can do 5-on-4 here. We've seen them on their few opportunities. They've managed to get things set up on that initial chance, but then once UCO managed to clear it, they couldn't really reestablish themselves. So we've said it a couple times in this game, and the face-off coming up is very important.
McElwain will take it for the Saints. Sykes for the Broncos. Sykes wins it in the corner, far side, pinned up against the boards. Slotty trying to fish that puck out of the scrum. He does. He gets it behind the net. Looks up top to the blue line. Ursulak shoots one on, and it goes over the net. Below the dots, puck is loose. Saints trying to come out with it. McElwain lifts the stick on his forehand, finds Timon Prexler at the blue line. Prexler to Ursulak. Ursulak back to Prexler. Prexler looks, finds McElwain down low. McElwain at the hash marks near side. Back up top to Prexler. Over to Ursulak. Ursulak back to Prexler. Prexler has room. Prexler shoots. That one's blocked. Waited too long. Gets it back. Up to Edwards. Edwards top of the key. Loses the puck. And now it's going to be a foot race. Sykes on a breakaway. Forehand shoots and scores. 6:51 remaining here in the third period. 56 seconds remaining on the Maryville power play. They lose the puck inside the Broncos zone, and Sam Sykes takes advantage of it and makes it a 4-0 game. A shorthanded goal for the Broncos.
Yeah, that's an absolute dagger. You don't like to give up a goal in that kind of situation no matter what, because the Saints were building a little bit. They were connecting out some good passes. As you mentioned, they just couldn't find that shooting lane available. They kept waiting for it to open up, and it just wouldn't because of well-placed defensive players for the Broncos. All of a sudden, a bounce on the cross-ice pass goes right into one of them, and they end up with a breakaway. Sykes makes no doubt about it with a great little move just to get Coffey down and scoop it over him, especially with the slash. that was along his stick as well.
Brett Ursulak now in the box. We play 4-on-4 hockey for another 50 seconds. Still 6 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here in the third period. But like you said, Todd, that one pretty much put this one on ice the way that this game's been going.
Yeah, and you kind of felt the way that the result was going to happen, but you still hoped maybe you get one goal on that power play. All of a sudden it's 3-1. Give yourself a chance. It's 4-0 now, even though the scoreboard doesn't necessarily show it. That's pretty much all she wrote, and it's basically about trying to win each shift from here on out. Just play good hockey for the last 6 minutes or so and try to build something towards next weekend.
Yeah, next week will be another tough test for the Saints as they take on the Ohio Bobcats.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for sure, and it's been a rough schedule, but that's by design by Coach Hogan. He wants to test his players early and often. So it's going to be rough because all of a sudden you lose this one, you're going to fall to 4-3, and you've got 2 games next weekend to where the results don't go your way. All of a sudden you're under 500, so it's important to try to build a little bit here.
Here's Chartier. Chartier in, tries to drag between the legs, and it's poked away by J.C. Dubecki. Good defensive play by the Broncos defenseman. Skating up ice is Sam Sykes. He takes the spill. Whipping it to the middle of the ice was Luke McLeod. Looks like the puck is just bouncing over sticks. Poked at the blue line. McLeod at the red line all by himself. He'll fire one on. It hits the blocker of Doug Wakeland, the netminder for the Broncos, and will go out of play with 5:16 remaining here in the third period. The scoreboard says it's 10-0. I don't think it is. I think it is 4-0. However, I could be wrong, but
I think we both missed a lot of goals if that happened.
We might have. I don't know.
Maybe they kicked some field goals.
Went for a few 2-point conversions. Todd, I do not know that rule in hockey, so do not ask me. We're back to 4-0 on the scoreboard for those that were wondering. We have had some scoreboard issues already today as the scoreboard just stopped working in the second period for about a minute.
That was the second time this weekend, so I'm not sure if there's a wiring issue or what's going on.
Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Slap shot from the high slot, doesn't make its way through. Stretch pass, doesn't connect. At the red line, Broncos dump it in. Coffey out of his cage, he'll stop the puck. It's turned over behind the net, thrown out front. Hit off the pad of Ed Coffey as the Saints take possession. MacArthur, near side hash marks, floats one into the neutral zone, bouncing puck. Able to nab it and get it out of the zone was David Burton. Saints with it. Far side, TJ Prexler. Top of the circle, shoots one, hits off a shin pad, and will come out of the zone. Zloty will play it back for White. White has a man on him, and it stays inside the zone. Saints with it, though. Rutkai to the near side wall. A little too far out front for Jake Chartier. Saints still with it. Zloty at the red line, off the glass, gets it in deep. 3:40 remaining here in the third period. Saints looking to tack one on and not be shut out for the second night in a row. Chartier fires one on, hits off the side of the net, still with it. Pushes one to the front of the net, comes out front. Cameron Ware shoots one on, it hits off a stick and bounces up. Broncos with it, they'll shoot it off the glass. It'll go down the length of the ice, but Timon Prexler's there to pick it up. Prexler dances his way through the zone, turns it over. And we'll get a whistle at the blue line. 3:07 left to go here in regulation. It has not been a great weekend for Maryville as they could be shut out for the second night in a row.
And what's been interesting to see is, like, I don't feel like Maryville's played bad games either night. They haven't been at their A game, but they haven't been outplayed either. It's just been those small little details that have gone the way of the Broncos. They managed to capitalize on their opportunities, whether it's been on the power play or the shorthanded goal, even 5-on-5. Maryville just hasn't been able to capitalize on the few opportunities that they've been given. And it's just those small little details, whether it's a pass that needed to stay on the ice and ended up bouncing, or on that 2-on-1, you don't even get a shot off. Just those small little things that make a huge difference over the course of 60 minutes.
Out front, shot, not on target. Puck inside the Maryville zone. Timon Prexler will head to the sin bin, as he will probably be called for an interference in that far side corner. You mentioned the Saints not being on their A game. You sort of need to be when you play a team like Central Oklahoma, who has been a fantastic team for a while now, Todd.
Yeah, they're going to be a team that's going to challenge for a championship this season, and we've said it, that this is why Coach Hogan schedules these kind of teams, because he wants his players to know what they're up against if they hope to be one of those teams, whether this year, the next year, or the next 2 or 3 years. They have to realize the level that they're going to be competing against when they go to nationals.
Puck is loose. Broncos with it. That's Kraus. Finds Dubecki. Dubecki, far side over to Simpson. Top of the circle. Back down low. Finds Sykes. Sykes up top to Dubecki. Dubecki, wrist shot on. Goes wide of the cage. Skips over the stick of Lucas Adams. It goes off the stick and comes out of the zone. Less than 3 minutes remaining here in regulation. Guerra loses the puck at the blue line, and the Broncos can't keep it in. That's Dubecki with it. He'll skate it back into his own zone. He'll look up. He'll find Sam Sykes, who made it a 4-0 game. Simpson with it. Sauce pass to the far side. Guerra gets it in deep. Coffee out of his net. Simpson's the first one there. Takes a hit. Saints able to get it and clear the zone. 1:55 remaining here in this one. Dubecki back behind his net. Turcotte, the lone Maryville Saint, who is inside the Broncos zone. Broncos will let the time just tick down. 55 seconds remaining on their power play. Not that they need another goal. They lead by 4 here in the dying minutes of the third period. Rimmed around off the glass. Kept in by the Broncos. At the blue line, Burton. To the near side, Reagan tries to dance around Turcotte, who gets a stick on it. Kept in by Central Oklahoma. Up top to the blue line, wrist or slap shot on, and that one goes off the stick of Ed Coffey and out of play with 1:15 remaining here in regulation. 28 seconds left to go on the Broncos power play.
But if nothing else, it's been a learning weekend for Maryville. They, as I mentioned, they weren't incredibly outplayed. They weren't blown out of the water despite what the score is currently, but it just kind of showcases the difference between them and the teams that are still above them in the eventual rankings.
Cash Reagan, near side corner, loses the puck. At the blue line, Taylor spinning away and keeps it in. Last minute in this one. Cash Reagan dancing his way inside the Saint zone. A shot on, goes off his stick and out of play with 48.7 ticks remaining. Definitely a weekend that Maryville would love to forget.
Yeah, and I almost kind of think that they probably will look to do that. I don't know that there's a whole lot of film that they're going to look at from this week to point at, say, oh, well, we should have done this and that different, because there's been so many just little minute things that added up over the course of the last couple games that there isn't a whole lot you can change. It's almost more of a mentality. They just have to be a little bit sharper.
Shot on wide of the net. Falling down was Taylor. And the Saints get it out of the zone. Stalzer's there, and down on the ice in the blue paint is one of the Saints. Trying to see who that is. Looks to be Ben MacArthur as he's slow to get up. At least he's on his knees as the trainer comes out to look at Ben MacArthur. 29.6 seconds remaining here in this one. Heading to the box is Robbie Rebroker.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to lose somebody this late in the game. The Saints have already lost Will Smith. He never returned.
Josh Olson as well is not out there.
I never remember seeing him come back either. So you've already got bumps and bruises, and Cameron Ware was shaken up a little bit, but he's stayed in the game, and all of a sudden Ben MacArthur was down for a good 15, 20 seconds. But
25 seconds remaining. Shot on from Corpse. It's off a body. Puck in the corner near side. Squirts loose. Corpse steps up and keeps the puck in. Board battle near side. 10 seconds remaining, and we'll get a whistle. 9.2 now on the clock. So the Saints will fall to 4-3 on the year. The Broncos picking up their 6th win of the season and will remain undefeated after meeting with the Saints for 2 games here in Chesterfield, Missouri. Saints get it off the draw, poked at by Corpse. 4 seconds, 3. That'll pretty much do it as it comes up top to the blue line and out of play. A shot after the horn. And that will finish up a game that Maryville definitely will want to forget. A couple shots go off the post. They get outscored this weekend 6-0, as both teams will shake hands in what will conclude a weekend that favored the Broncos heavily.
Yeah, it was just an odd weekend overall because a lot of it had to do with how you perceive the game, how your perspective is. Personally, I felt Maryville was a little bit better tonight, and they allow 2 extra goals compared to what they did last night. But then again, Coach Hogan was overall pleased with the effort that he saw last night, so he saw that game differently than I did. So really the overall weekend is disappointing because you lose both, you don't score a goal, but they're not that far off. I don't think they got their doors blown off despite the fact that they lose 6-0 over the course of 2 games.
We'll see if the Saints can rebound for next weekend as they'll take on the Ohio Bobcats. They fall tonight by a final score of 4-0. We'll break down this one in our post-game thoughts coming up next, so don't go anywhere. The Saints get swept on home ice as the Central Oklahoma Broncos win Game 2 by a final of 4-0. 25 shots for the Broncos, 19 for the Saints. We'll talk about it in our post-game show coming up next right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Welcome to Maryville University,
Welcome to Saints Nation.
home of the Big Red M.
So what does it mean to be a Maryville Saint?
It's more than just going to classes.
As Saints, we are passionate about what we believe in.
We are open-minded and curious about other points of view.
And we know this about life at Maryville.
Your best experiences will happen when you get involved.
Make sure to get involved on campus.
We work hard.
But we have a lot of fun too.
We have a passion to see each other succeed.
You might have a few hiccups along the way.
Or maybe something more serious.
When we run into adversity,
We have faculty and staff here to provide support.
We stand with our fellow Saints through the good times.
And the difficult times.
So be sure to seek out help when you need it.
we know that here at Maryville,
We are never alone.
The spirit of Maryville flows through each person that steps foot on our campus.
Being a Saint is that feeling that Maryville University is your community.
That even when you're far away from home,
You are home.
We're on this journey together.
We are Maryville University.
One team, one family.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. A 4-0 victory for the Central Oklahoma Broncos today over the Saints. Todd Panula alongside Andrew Marsh. We're going to break this one down. 25 shots for the Broncos, 19 for the Saints. We talked about it before the game. The Saints needed to find some offense tonight in order to just get something going. And really, Todd, I didn't think they had all too many opportunities. The ones that they did, they couldn't capitalize. Unfortunately, sometimes you hit the post, the puck doesn't go in, and things don't go your way, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
Yeah, and it just kind of showcased the oddity that was this weekend, especially here tonight. Their best chances don't count as shots on goal, whether it was some of the drives they had early in the first period that were taken by defensemen, and you'd like to have a forward in that scenario, but it just didn't pan out that way. You have a 2-on-1 that doesn't materialize because the defender's kind of in the way, and then a puck rolls on you. You don't get a shot off there. They had 3 posts that were hit. Those don't count as shots, even though they were quality opportunities. The ones, unfortunately, that did hit the net weren't necessarily overly challenging for Wakefield, other than that one that he made a spectacular glove save. If that one goes in, maybe all of a sudden we're talking about a different scenario, because given the fact it was 2-0 at the time, it becomes 2-1. Instead, it stays 2-0, and then all of a sudden they get the power play goal. Those are the small little details that I was mentioning that didn't go Maryville's way. One bounce here or the other might be a different scenario. The way it played out, you don't score at all during the weekend.
Yeah, you mentioned Doug Wakeland making that huge save in the second period to keep it a 2-0 game. I thought that was the turning point, essentially, for the game. One of those saves that, you know, if it goes in, it's a complete different game. Perhaps Maryville ends up getting some confidence. They end up tying the game. Who knows what happens, but you make a great save like that, you deserve to be the player of the game, in my opinion. I thought Doug Wakeland was. But again, he wasn't really tested all that much throughout the game. Yeah, there was 19 shots, but it didn't seem like there were really quality scoring opportunities. The one that he did come up with, though, ended up paying dividends for the Broncos, and they won 4-0 tonight. 4 different goal scorers for the Broncos. We mentioned next week the Saints are taking on the Bobcats, another great team. So this is going to be a rough stretch for Maryville if they're not on their A game.
Yeah, they don't have too much in the way of a learning curve. You're learning on the fly how to play against these top teams. And again, as I mentioned during the broadcast, that's why Coach Hogan schedules as tough as he does. It's not just for the rankings. It's to let his team know where they stand compared to some of these teams, the type of hockey that they need to play against these kind of teams to be victorious. Unfortunately, we didn't see a lot here this weekend, and a lot of it, unfortunately, boiled down to special teams. Now, on the positive side, you only allow 2 power play goals against over the course of 2 games, but just far too many penalty kill chances, and that really took, we talked about it, the flow of the game away from Maryville. They had 8 penalties that gave up power plays to Central Oklahoma. Now, even though they only get the 1 goal and it ends up being the 3rd goal, so it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things,
right?
That's still 16 minutes of hockey that just goes by the wayside, that you don't even have an opportunity to be on offense because you're shorthanded the whole time. That's almost a full period that you're playing shorthanded, and you just can't give quality teams that many opportunities to be on the power play. So whether it's against Central Oklahoma this weekend or next weekend against the Bobcats, you have to find a way to stay out of the box, whether you want to blame the officiating being a little too tight or whether you just want to say that Maryville allowed the opponent to get under their skin. You just have to find a way to play 5-on-5.
Absolutely. You got to stay disciplined, and that has been the story all season long is Maryville, you know, they find themselves regularly in the penalty box, and unfortunately for them, it sort of got away from them, and they weren't able to get into the flow of the game. Like you said, 16 minutes where you're not creating really any offense. But like you said, from a positive standpoint, they're only allowing 1 goal on the penalty kill, so you have to take something away from this weekend. 6-0 overall through these 2 games. The Maryville Saints will look to find their offense next week as they take on the Ohio Bobcats. We'll be right back right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network for those 2 games. So we appreciate you tuning in to this weekend's slate of games against the Broncos. For Todd Panula, our guy, Eric Skelton, who does a fine job as our producer, and everyone else who's a part of the Maryville Saints Hockey Network broadcasting team. We thank everyone for tuning in to tonight's game, a 4-0 victory for the Broncos over the Saints. Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.